Alright, how's everybody doing today? This is New Era Gardener. Hopefully everything is good, and hopefully you're having plenty of success with your worm farm. But right now, I'm going to check into mine and see how they're doing. So I got a couple of bins that are really close to the time to be harvested. I didn't put a time on here, but these are from Wiggle Room worms, and these are some nice looking worms I got from them, and we're just gonna actually take a look and see. But these two bins I'm probably gonna go ahead and harvest this weekend, so we're gonna take a look at them. If you look at it, there's good moisture. There's a little dry spot here, but that's normal. That's where the vents are for the moisture and for air to come in and out. So it's just normal. But we're going to take a look and see how it looks. Just from the top, it's looking good. And this bedding was made up of not coconut coir. I don't use coconut coir no more. I really like using the peat moss with the alpaca manure shredded up, put some newspaper in it, and everything kind of seems to work great that way, for me at least. So good moisture, nice sized worms, they're looking good. There are some small worms in here, so at least we know that they are actually populating themselves by some cocoons, which actually is helping out to bring up the population, so that's a good thing. But everything so far that I'm seeing looks good. Good moisture, nice sized worms. And looking at it, even though a lot of it, like I said, looked like it was ready, for what I'm seeing right now, I'm not going to harvest this particular bin. I think it needs a little longer on this particular bin. Even though we have some beautiful, nice fat worms, everything's looking good in here. I think I'm going to let them go a little bit longer. So I would actually have to go and kind of look at maybe one of the videos that I did before, just to kind of see when this particular bin was kind of set up. Even though they're doing very well, good moisture, no bug issue, no pest, we're looking good. But looking at the material, there's a lot of castings in it, but for me, it's not ready. So this one here, I'm going to give it a little more time to actually let them continue to have some working time on this material. And two, like I said, I do see some small worms in here. A little more time will give them some time to mature a little bigger, grow a little bit. But I'm not worried about any moisture issues or anything like that. So that's going to be the first bin I'm going to actually look at. Let me grab another bin. We'll take a look at that bin and see what we're looking like with that bin. So, but that same bin will be also another Wiggle Room startup bin. Alright, give me a second. This is bin number 2 from Wiggle Room. This one looks a whole lot better than the other one that I actually looked at, but it's broken down a lot more. It's like on the top It's all that nice fluffy peat moss. But let's dig down. Yeah. Yeah, this one's a little better as far as the material being broken down and kind of feeling like castings, and that but this one is not as moist as the other bin. Good population in here. Good moisture. No bug issue. I did have, and what you're seeing in here, this stuff here is actually some diatomaceous earth over by this corner where you see, I don't know if you could see some of it on the side walls there. I don't know if it was the start of some fruit flies or something, but a lot of white flakes there, which I thought were bug eggs, fly eggs. So what I did is I put some diatomaceous earth on it to just kind of make sure that if it was any eggs starting, that I took care of that to kind of not allow them to hatch. Because the diatomaceous earth will actually dry out the eggs and kind of kill the eggs. So as you see, there is no issue with any type of flies or whatever type of eggs those might have been. So we're looking good. Well, this has been number 2, and this is the wiggle room worms that I actually got. They had some very nice sized worms. I was very happy with the size of the worms. So, but this one is a little drier, on the drier side. The moisture's good though. They're not running out because it's a dry bin looking for moisture. So, but I will give this one a little bit of moisture to it. I'll water this particular bin, and also I'm also going to mix in on just the top. I'm going to mix in some alpaca manure, kind of give them something to kind of gnaw on. All right, give them a little bit of more food in here. So, and that's what you may have to do from time to time, is as you're checking your bin, you kind of know if there's any food left in there, especially when you're using manure. It just depends on how much manure you actually add into your bedding. If you kind of do a ratio of 70% manure, 30% being the coconut coir or peat moss, which I use peat moss. So it all depends on what you do. And then the rest is just adding in your cardboard, your paper, which also adds as a food source to them. And that's why a lot of times you don't see any paper in my bins, because it's a food source for them. It's a carbon source for them. And that's what they need. So, and then with your microbes and your biology that's in the worm castings, a lot of times they attach themselves to the cardboard and the newspaper, and kind of eat that cardboard and paper up. So, that's what it is. So sometimes from time to time you may have to add a little bit in. And sometimes what I do is, if I'm going to add some more feeding, give them another feeding, is I just add a little bit on top. I don't add a whole lot. I add a little on top and see how they react to that. If it's going within a day, then I know that that there's probably a lack of food in there that they've already gone through. And then I'll add a nice helping to the top, and I may mix it into the first inch of the top. Just kind of mix it up a little bit in the top, just so it's mixed in a little bit with the rest of the bedding. I don't. A lot of times, some people will, start off with a certain amount of bedding, and then what they'll do is, as they mix it up and see how they're doing, then they may add another layer of their bedding on top to give them something to eat. Because my bins are mostly manure, I don't do that. I just actually may have to add a little bit more. It just depends on what's going on inside the bin. So if these worms are starting to go down, I don't like to spray them when they're on top. So I'm going to give them some time to go down, and then I'll actually add some moisture to this particular bin. But this is New Era Gardener, and I appreciate you watching the video, and I appreciate everyone who has been subscribing to my channel and watching the videos. All right, enjoy the rest of your day.